Youth basketball in Sumter County has truly become a feeder system to all of our local schools.
Welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast, covering local sports in the Southwest Georgia area, creating content that is factual, positive, and informative, promoting efforts by athletes, coaches, and sports administrators. Now, here's your host, Tim Estes.
Hello again, and thank you for making the Integrity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. I'm your host, Tim Estes, and if you're watching this program today on Facebook, let me encourage you to hit the like button, and please share it with your friends. Hit the share button. That's how we get our viewership up. If you're watching today via YouTube, make sure and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. We're glad to be joined today by my good friend, Coach Dwight Harris. He is the athletic manager at the Sumter County Parks and Recreation Department. Coach Harris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Coach, I know that basketball has been a passion of yours for several years. I look back to the early 80s when you were a standout at America's High School, and then you went on to play college basketball. For those that may just kind of know who you are, tell our audience a little bit about your background and what led to this passion for basketball.
As you've already stated, I played at America's High School, and then I played at Howard College. I also played at the University of Tennessee. And it was at the University of Tennessee where I had an injury, a knee injury, and that kind of shattered my hopes of becoming a professional basketball player. And so I went on I wanted to do something here in Sumter County for the kids. And I had an opportunity that some kids won't ever have, and that's to play with and against some of the professional basketball players, Spud Webb, Dominique Wilkins, Kenny Skywalker. And fact of the matter, in 1982, the North and South All-Star game, I was a participant, and I defeated Kenny Skywalker in the slam dunk contest. Can you imagine that? He went on to the NBA and he won the slam dunk contest. So, with those thoughts in mind, it just you just don't never know, and basketball has afforded me a lot. It gave me an opportunity to travel, and I wanted to make sure I come back. And once I got back home, to teach basketball to these kids, not just on the court, but off the court as well.
Coach, for several years now, you've been in charge of many of the athletic programs there at the Sumter County Parks and Rec Department. And no doubt basketball is your favorite time of year. I want you to talk a little bit about some of the state championships that you've had through the local program there. I know you've won several state championships, and even a few years ago, I got to make a trip with you over to South Carolina where your 12 and under team took on what was called the Border Wars Championship, where you had the Georgia state champion and the South Carolina state champion, and you guys were able to win that. But talk a little bit to our audience about the youth basketball program over at the Sumter County Parks and Rec Department and some of those championships.
The youth basketball program at Sumter County Parks and Rec, we're second to none. That's just the bottom line. We're second to none, not because we're so good, but we teach the kids the art of basketball and how to play the game, not just on the court, as I've stated earlier, but off the court as well. And a lot of times people try to teach a lot of plays, but that's something that I don't do. I teach them how to play. And if they know how to play, it doesn't really matter what kind of defense you set up, they're able to play. So, and these are 7, 5 through 12-year-old kids, and they're not going to learn the plays anyway. They're not going to, go out there and run play by play. So if you teach them how to play, then they'll know how to maneuver their way through and how to deal with people. The championship we won is a lot of times it seems as if though you might think you're coaching the kids, but they're actually coaching you.
Yep.
We've had moments like that. But those kids that we've had in the past, they've been absolutely phenomenal. Some of the parenting was great, so it's easier to coach when you got a feeder program and you have people that working with you and trying to help you build the program. So those guys that won those state championships, they were hardworking, they were dedicated, they were determined, and we taught them no matter what, don't quit. Play till the whistle sound. When the referee blows the whistle, you give him the ball. Attitude, respect. Those are the things that will help, you win championship.
I got you. Hey, next week, speaking of these guys, next week, I know you're going to send, is it 4 teams to district tournaments? You got an 8 and under team, a 10 and under team, and then both a boys team and a girls team in the 12 and under. They'll head to the GRPA district tournaments. Tell us a little bit about those teams, and Coach, do we have the opportunity to win even more state championships?
We'll be taking 14, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 through 12 girls. 7, 8 will be co-ed, and 11 and 12 boys. Each team, we've appointed a good coach, a real good coach, and we teach, mental and physical part of the game. They'll be in shape. So they won't be holding their shorts because they're tired. We make sure they're in shape mentally as well as physically. We try to make sure that we exercise their mind as well as their body. For example, we do simple stuff at practice. I know I do. A lot of time I might ask them a question, something like, how many months have 28 days? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is February, where all the months have 28 days.
That's
February
right.
is the only month with 28 days. So that's what we mean when we say exercise the mind as well as the body. These teams that we're taking next week to the district tournament, they're all well disciplined, they're all well coached, and they're good kids, all of them. And we're expecting the same thing we've done in the past, to have some district and state championships.
Good deal. Coach, in addition to what you do there at the Parks and Rec Department, I know for many years now you operate a summer basketball program through your Dwight Harris Boys Club, and that's been really successful. Talk to us a little bit about why you started that program and some of the successes it's had over the years.
I started the Dwight Harris Boys Club simply because one day I was riding around just touring the community. I saw a lot of boys standing on street corners. This in the middle of the day when they should have been out working, doing nothing, just idle, just standing there, pants below their buttocks, smoking cigarettes and using profanity. And I thought, it got to be something that we could do, and then to be honest, a voice came to me in the middle of the night and told me, start a boys club. And actually, Tim, this started through the rec department. Because before I was employed by the rec department, my son, Dwight Jr., played here, and I coached his team. And one of the parents brought the kid to me and said, here, coach, here he is, being that you're the only one he listens to. So then I had that vision, and I started the boys club. Well, through the boys club came the Dwight Harris Summer Basketball League. At the boys club, it said Dwight Harris Boys Club. It didn't say Dwight Harris Black Boys Club. It didn't say Dwight Harris White Boys Club. So I had only 2 white participants, and that just wasn't good enough for me. I try to be as diverse as possible, and I didn't like that. So I said, got to be something else. There's nothing for the kids to do. So from that birth, the Dwight Harris Summer Basketball League, I went out and talked to one of the most phenomenal men I've ever met, and that's Coach Rondy Foster at Southland. He's no longer there now, but
he's at Deerfield now, right?
That's right. He's at Deerfield. And he and I talked. I said, Coach, I know you want your team to be good. I know you want your team to win championships. But what you got to do, if this is really what you got to do, I said, you and I can bridge the gap. We need to bridge the gap. He said, how? I said, well, you get your boys to come to the summer league, and let's put the boys together and let them play in the community. Not only will they play basketball, but there'll be a relationship, lifelong relationship. And we did that. So we got white and black, people from all walks of life playing basketball. And it has grown tremendously. At the middle school, they're winning. At the high school level, they're winning. And they're all friends. So that's the success that I've had with it, to see some of the kids that have made friends and gone off to get scholarships and just to go to school, period. If nothing else, they have a great experience.
And Dwight, when I look at the success that all of our local area high schools have had over the past few years, you think about the America Sumter High Schools boys and girls teams. The girls have won a couple of state championships. The boys were right there in it for many years. And then you transition across town. Southland has had a state championship on the girls' side. Now you've got Sly County's girls that are doing really well with Destiny Scott, and Destiny grew up in your program there. I can't help but be confident that what you've done both at the recreation level and at the Dwight Harris Summer League has been truly a feeder system to all of our schools. In fact, I wanted to tell you this today on the broadcast. I went over to the Storm Dome last night and watched Southland Academy's boys play in the GIAA region tournament. And at one time on the floor, all 5 of the Southland starters were kids that came up through our program. That's got to be a success for you.
That's definitely a success for me. But I want to thank you too, Mr. Estes, for giving me the opportunity to work here with you and to be me. You know, you've never micromanaged me. You've always let me do what I've done with the basketball program. And that's another reason why it's been so successful, because I'm able to do, what I want to do. And the parents respect me enough knowing that I'm out for the best interest of their child. Success is for me when I see those kids out there, they're playing and they're doing some of the stuff that we've taught them. They demonstrating good sportsmanship. A player fall on the floor, they knock a player down, they extend their hand to help them up and stuff like that. Those are the things that we teach here at the rec department. And not only that, it'll extend, over into life experiences. So that it's phenomenal when I see all those players, white and black, just out there playing together. I go to different schools. I say, those kids grew up in our program. And then they walk up to me and say, hey, Coach Dwight, hey, Coach Harris, Coach, you remember you taught me this? And my motto is this. I've always told them, a loser never win and a winner never quit. What I mean by that is, regardless of what that score is on that clock, you may have lost based on the score on the clock. If you quit and decide never to try again, then you are a loser. But if you continue to strive, you continue to practice and continue to work hard, regardless of the score, you'll always be a winner. And they're all winners in my book.
And Dwight, let's dig deeper into this about being a feeder system. When a kid starts at 5 years old, I don't think it's in your mind or my mind, we need to prepare this kid for high school sports. We try to develop a love for the game. But as a kid progresses in age and they start getting into that 9 and 10 or that 11 and 12, it truly becomes a feeder system at that point. Your goal is to try to get them prepared for the middle school level, right?
That's absolutely correct. My goal is,
go ahead, Coach.
When they're 5 and 6, they come to us as babes. And I'm a religious man. So when they come to us as babes, what we do then, we give them the milk. We teach them the basic fundamentals of basketball. And with that, they'll be able, because, it's been stated that the milk does the body good. So we want to make sure the bones are strong. So we give them the milk. That's the basic fundamentals of basketball, and we teach them how to dribble, how to pass, the chest pass, all the passes. How not to walk and stuff like that, just to try to prepare them. And then once we do that, then we're able to give them a little meat, and meat is to prepare them for the middle school. Then we try to put in a few plays. We try to participate with the high school or the middle school coaches so that we can see that what program they're running, what kind of drills or what plays they're running, so we can get them started here. So when they get there, they already know this stuff. But in terms of jump stop, how to shoot a jump shot, how to make a proper layup, we give them the milk here at Sumter County Parks and Rec. So when they get there, they already know that stuff.
Dwight, they say behind every great man is an even better woman. And I know you have been blessed to have an excellent, supportive wife. And together, y'all have a very successful son. Tell our audience a little bit about your family.
When you get to talking about my wife and son, I get very, very emotional and excited.
Yeah.
I've been truly blessed to have a wonderful wife, and I can say this and mean it. Some folks can say it but really don't mean it, or just for brownie points.
Right.
But she is phenomenal, and I'm talking about absolutely good. She's a retired educator. She retired as a superintendent at Quitman County. Now she's working with the with Chattahoochee Flint RISA as a leadership coordinator. My son Dwight Jr. He's in chiropractic school in at Marietta, Georgia, at Life University. He has about a little over a year left before he finished. So yes, they've been very supportive of me, and I've absolutely been supportive of them. And that's what family is supposed to do. And not only that, since you're talking about my family, that's what we do also with the basketball. We try to teach them how to become a family and how to support one another.
Yeah. Coach, looking down the road, as you kind of project over the next year or 2 years or even 5 years, what are some of your hopes for youth sports here in Sumter County?
Some of my hopes for youth sports here in Sumter County is, first, I hope that the adults, the parents, be adults and be the parents. And the children be children. Sometimes we try to put a round-headed child in a square hole, and we wonder why he doesn't fit. We try to live our lives through children, and that's something we can't do. I wanted to be a professional basketball player, but not one time did I try to make my child play basketball. He played because he wanted to play. And sometimes we try to make children do what we wanted to do, but for some unfortunate reason, we just weren't able to do that. And what I want to see happen here is that adults be adults and children be children. And we just let the children play ball.
And Coach, one of the things that's always struck me, you look out at the landscape of youth sports, and you got AAU basketball teams or travel baseball teams and all these different people that are trying to touch these kids and take them to an ultra competitive level at a very early age. One of the things I've always respected about the programs that you've run is you really have to go overboard to teach not just the kids, but the parents. This is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be ultra competitive, especially at the league level.
That's right, and a lot of times the parents, they'll try to put a child in a parent place and have them doing something that adults do, and the child can't do it. Well, that's unfair to the child because he's still a child. Working with parents sometimes it can be very difficult, but when we won that border war, back to that, those group of parents, since I've been here at the Sumter County Parks and Rec, those were the best set of parents I've ever had. They were very supportive and they were responsible, and they helped me discipline the child. And when I say discipline, I don't mean with a paddle or anything like that. Just go to the baseline, and they understood what we were trying to do.
They let coaches coach.
Let coaches coach, and you be a fan. And if you want to coach, we have the coach's application. We might consider it next year based on the background check. But a lot of times they try to coach from the stands. And one thing I tell the parents not to do, when you get home, please, ma'am or sir, do not say in front of your child, your coach can't coach, or your coach ain't this, your coach not that. Because now what you've done, you created a situation where the kid comes back to practice, he's looking at his coach because mama has said that he's an idiot. So he thinks the coach is an idiot. He's not even paying attention to what the coach said.
Right. Today's program's been brought to you by our friends at Global Graphics. If you need to promote an event or an organization with maybe T-shirts or banners or yard signs, whatever it might be, stop by and see Jerry and Charlie and all the fine folks at Global Graphics, or you can give them a call at 924-2131. Coach Harris, as we wrap this thing up today, I do appreciate you being our guest, and I hope you'll come back. I want to end this way, Coach. as somebody that's been around you pretty closely for over 10 years now, I feel like you have really built a trust with this community. And you talked about diversity earlier in our program, but how important is it for all of us to come together for a common goal?
It is extremely important. You know, the Bible teaches us to all be on one accord. It doesn't say anything about nationality or anything like that. You know, whether you're black, white, blue, or green, we're all people. We all human. We all red on the inside. We all breathe. We all eat. We do some of the same things if we're people. So we all got to be humanitarians and treat folks right. It's very, very imperative that we get along in this community, that we get along in the next community, and we get along in this world. Otherwise, we all gonna perish one day if we don't get along and do what's right. Treat thy neighbor as thyself.
Coach, I sure appreciate you being with me. Hope you'll come back in a few weeks and give us an update on how these basketball teams did.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Thank you for making the Integrity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. Let me once again remind you, if you're watching on Facebook, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. If you're on YouTube, make sure and hit the subscribe button. Until next week, I'm Tim Estes. So long, everybody.